The last 2 days, beginning Wednesday evening, Thursday, and today were Rosh Chodesh. We celebrated the new month of Kislev. That's when the moon renews itself. It goes through complete darkness and begins to grow again. And this is the month of Kislev that will lead us into the celebration of Hanukkah. Now, some people know, but not everybody knows, that Rosh Chodesh, which we mark every month, is, according to the rabbis, a holiday in which we expiate on behalf of God for God having brought unfairness and randomness into the world. Did you know that? So here's the backstory. Rabbi Shimon ben Yazai noted the following contradiction in the story of creation. It says that God made the two great lights. So there were two great lights, the sun and the moon. But it is also written in the same verse, the greater light to dominate the day and the lesser light to dominate the night. So the moon addressed the Holy and Blessed One, Master of the universe. Can two monarchs really share a crown? Can we both rule, being of the same size? The Holy and Blessed One responded to her, to the moon, go and diminish yourself. So the moon addressed God again, Master of the universe, said, I diminish myself for having spoken appropriately? And there's a dialogue that takes place in the Talmud between the moon and God. And at the end, God tries to make up for having told the moon to diminish herself. But the moon's feelings were not assuaged. Said the Holy and Blessed One, make atonement for me. Said the Holy One to the children of Israel, make atonement for me, for my having diminished the moon. And then Rosh Chodesh, we read something that is unique in the entire section of the sacrifices in the book of Numbers. It says, Useir izim echad lechatat ladonai. There shall be one goat on Rosh Chodesh, one goat as a purification and forgiveness offering on behalf of God. So our ancestors brought each month a sacrifice to expiate on behalf of God for having created and brought unfairness into the world. It's an amazing section. It's an amazing concept. And we do live with so much unfairness and so much randomness. And look at what happened in the last couple of weeks, the shootings. So many people lost their lives in senseless acts of violence. Random people. Could have been any one of us, right? And here were, how many? 14 people who were shot just in the last week or two. And the world is full of randomness and unfairness. And what do we do? So in some way our rabbinic ancestors, our sages, blamed God for putting unfairness in the world, but that doesn't help much, right? What do we do? How do we live with so much unfairness? There is no answer. I mean, this is an enormous challenge for humankind to live, and particularly now when things seem that everything is so much out of sync. How do we live with such unfairness? So the Jewish answer is to try to minimize the unfairness, to make things right as much as we can, to protect ourselves and to protect our fellow human beings from these senseless acts of violence as much as we can, to minimize the possibility that things will go out of hand, to minimize war and injustice, to create peace, to create, to be righteous as much as we can, and to bring goodness into the world. And now that the world will get dark, or at least the northern hemisphere will get darker and darker in the next few weeks, as the sun sets earlier and earlier and leads us into Hanukkah. Of course, the message is we have to bring light into the world as much as we can. When it gets dark, we bring light. When it gets violent, we bring peace. When there's injustice, we bring justice and redress things so that at least in any way we can, whatever is under our possibility to control and to do, to minimize the great unfairness and randomness that exist in the world. And I hope that everybody had a chance this Thanksgiving to feel the gratitude in the midst of all the tragedies and the unsettling news that we are to watch every single day, that we had an opportunity to sit, hopefully with loved ones, with friends and family, and express to each other our gratitude for what we have and for having each other in our lives, for having family and friends and community, and so many things that I think offer in some way a counterbalance to all the things that are just out of sync in the world.